Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am super thrilled to have you here because today we're taking a really fascinating journey. We're going to look into the moral-driven logic of two absolute classic fables, the lazy girl and the goose girl. We're basically going to decode exactly how these seemingly simple stories construct their magical worlds to teach us some pretty profound lessons about human nature. So get comfortable and let's unravel the secrets of the fairy tale universe together. To kick things off, I want you to just think about this for a second. What do a talking horse and a magical hearth actually have in common? I mean, at first glance, they kind of just seem like random, whimsical elements of a fantasy world, right? But as we're going to see, in the fairy tale universe, magic is literally never just there for decoration. It's a highly specific tool used to test human psychology and character. Every single enchanted object, every talking animal, they are all mirrors, reflecting exactly who these characters truly are deep down. Let's start with our first story, the diligent and the lazy. We're stepping right into a classic archetype here. Intense sibling rivalry built entirely around contrasting work ethics. You've got this poor, exhausted old father and two adult daughters who are suddenly asked to step up and take on some real responsibility. Okay, let's dive into this. When the tired old father asks his daughters to find jobs, well, the divergence is immediate. On one side, we have the diligent girl. She is completely willing to get her hands dirty. I mean, she eagerly agrees to leave home and find work to support the family. On the exact opposite end of the spectrum, we've got the lazy girl. She tells her father she'd rather just stay home and do the housework, but the reality, she totally refuses to clean. She just expects everyone else to do the heavy lifting, while the house gets messier and dirtier every single day. Right before the diligent daughter leaves, her father gives her this incredible piece of parting advice. He says, never refuse someone who asks you for help. Always be diligent, love your job, do the job that was given to you to the best of your abilities. Now, this isn't just nice fatherly advice. It's practically the moral rulebook for the entire magical world she's about to enter. As you'll see, perfectly following these rules is the ultimate key to surviving and thriving in this fable. So off the diligent girl goes, and she very quickly runs into the famous fairy tale rule of three. First up, she meets a tree with dried branches. She cleans it up until her palms are literally bruised and even gives it her own drinking water. Next, she meets a broken, cracked hearth. She uses mud to patch it, getting her clothes completely covered in dirt in the process. Third, she finds a lamb covered in black coal and bathes it in the lake, getting totally drenched herself. And finally, she arrives at a house owned by 7 fairies and asks for a job. Notice the pattern here. It's complete selflessness. She doesn't care about the bruised hands, the dirty clothes, or being soaking wet. She just helped. Now, what's really fascinating here is exactly how the fairies test her. It's the ultimate test of obedience. They hire her to clean exactly 6 rooms for a full year, with one incredibly strict rule: never, ever enter the 7th room. And because she follows her father's advice, she just does the job given to her. She passes perfectly. She never peeks, not even once. After a year, she asks to go home. And as a reward for her incredible honesty and diligence, the fairies actually invite her into that forbidden 7th room, where she gets completely covered in gold and silver coins. And as a bonus, on her walk back home, the lamb gives her pearls, the hearth gives her warm bread, and the tree gives her fruit. Hard work literally pays off. But what happens when you bring a bad attitude into this exact same magical ecosystem? Well, that brings us to the consequences of choices. Seeing her sister's newfound wealth, the jealous, lazy girl sets out on the exact same path, hoping for emeralds instead of pearls. And this brilliantly illustrates the comic yet kind of harsh justice of the fairy tale world. The lazy girl meets the exact same 3 elements but completely rejects them all out of pure vanity. She tells the tree it's going to ruin her hair. She tells the hearth it'll ruin her nail polish. She literally calls the lamb disgusting. She even takes the fairy's job but breaks the one rule and snoops in the 7th room. The consequences? Oh boy. The 7th room is full of stinging bees and bats. When she runs away and tries to take the magical rewards from the tree, hearth, and lamb, well, the lamb runs away, the hearth burns her hands, and the tree actually dodges her so she can't even pick the fruit. The exact same elements that rewarded her sister actively punished her. All right, let's shift gears to our second story, The Princess and the Traitor. We are leaving the world of household chores behind and stepping into a realm of royalty, deception, and magical protection. We're moving into a tale with much, much higher stakes. The initial power dynamic here is really striking. A queen sends her beautiful daughter off to marry a prince in another country.
But to keep a low profile, she sends an assistant instead of royal guards. The princess rides Falada, this magnificent talking horse. She carries a magic handkerchief given to her by a good fairy for protection, and she has a box of royal jewels. The assistant, on the other hand, she's just riding a donkey and acting as a servant. At the start, it totally seems like the princess holds all the power and all the magical advantage. But as we know, fairy tales hinge on tiny moments of vulnerability. The assistant begins disrespecting the princess, flat out refusing to fetch her water. So the thirsty princess has to get off her horse and bow down to drink from the stream with her own hands. In that precise micro moment, her magic handkerchief, the very thing protecting her, slips out of her pocket and washes away in the water. Instantly, all her magical protection is just gone. With that protection gone, the assistant violently seizes the opportunity. She forces the princess to swap clothes and literally threatens her with jail time if she ever tells the truth. The sheer audacity of this role reversal is honestly breathtaking. They arrive at the prince's palace, and the fake princess is warmly welcomed by the prince. Her very first act, she orders the talking horse, Falada, to be locked in chains so he can't reveal her secret. Meanwhile, the real princess is demoted to a servant on the spot and sent out to the meadows to herd geese with a boy named Conrad. It's a complete inversion of the natural order. But of course, in a fairy tale, a false order can never stand forever. The truth will out. True nobility and magical truth have a funny way of bubbling to the surface, no matter how hard you try to chain them up in a barn. Out in the meadow, the goose boy Conrad tries to steal the real princess's golden hair clips. But she still has her innate royal connection to magic. "I absolutely love this chant," she says. "Blow crazy wind, blow fast and straight. Take Conrad's hat and take it away." She literally summons a wild, crazy wind that blows Conrad's hat way up into the mountains. So he spends all his time chasing his hat around while she safely reties her beautiful hair. Notice how she uses magic not to attack, but just to protect her dignity. Let's move to Laramie and see how this builds into the story's resolution. Step 1, an annoyed Conrad complains to the king about this quote-unquote crazy girl who talks to horses and summons winds. Step 2, the king, his curiosity definitely piqued, secretly investigates. He watches her speak to the chained horse Falada, and he even hides in the bushes to witness the wind magic firsthand. Seeing her golden clips and her true grace, he knows something is seriously wrong. Step 3, he brings her in, promises her absolute safety from any jail time, and she finally confesses the whole twisted truth. And this leads to one of the most incredibly satisfying moments of fairy tale justice you will ever see. The king throws a royal feast, and he seats the true princess and the fake princess together. The crazy thing? The fake princess doesn't even recognize the girl she betrayed because she's now dressed beautifully. The king tells a hypothetical story about a liar and asks the fake princess what the punishment should be. Her response? She arrogantly declares that the liar should be chained and imprisoned forever. The king immediately applies her own ruling right to her. She unknowingly wrote her own doom. We've traversed two very different stories today, one of household chores and fairies, and another of royal betrayal and talking horses. But as we pull these threads together, we uncover the universal fairy tale truths. So the crucial point is, what are our main takeaways here? Well, number 1, the rule of 3. Whether we're talking about trees, hearths, and lambs, or tests of patience, always reveals a character's true nature. Number 2, deception and laziness are totally unsustainable. They inevitably lead to ruin, like bee stings or prison chains. Number 3, magical items like a talking horse or a loaf of warm bread aren't just random props. They actually react to and reflect a person's inner truth. And finally, number 4, hard work, honesty, and true nobility, whether you're cleaning 6 rooms or herding geese out in a meadow, are absolutely always rewarded in the end. I want to leave you with a final provocative thought today. If you were walking down a path right now and were tested by a magical tree asking for water, a talking horse chained in a barn, or a forbidden 7th room, what would your choices say about you? Would you leave with pearls and golden hair clips, or burned hands and a blown-away hat? It's a whimsical question for sure, but the character it tests is entirely real. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll see you next time.